The Valis Undermine update is officially live. Now, new quests, cool. New Warframe, awesome. New weapons, tremendous. A brand new type of bounty, amazing. But, listen to this, 2 Arcanes on an Arcgun. Even better when we can try it out on a brand new Archgun that's actually the signature weapon of the Shroom Boy. Yes indeed, my dudes and dudettes. Today we are checking out the Arbucep, which is simultaneously the weirdest and coolest of all the Archguns. The blueprint for the Arbucep as well as its components come from the new bounties and syndicate, so basically just do the new stuff and eventually you will get the Shroom Shooter whether you like it or not. It sports a relatively low 10% crit chance with a very above average 2.9 times crit multiplier and an extremely high 34.9% status chance per projectile whilst firing 6 projectiles at once. Now each of these projectiles does a different type of elemental combo damage, so one does corrosive, one gas, one blast, and so on. But there's always a but. How else would you sit down? You would just fall off the chair. It consumes 6 ammo per shot, so it's actually quite ammo hungry, and multi-shot does not add additional projectiles. It's instead converted into damage. So let us give it a shot and see if it's any good. Shall we? That looks weird as hell. What does it mean? What do you mean? What is this? I don't understand. Oh, okay, so it fires 6 rockets and each does different damage? That's wild. Also, multi-shot is converted to damage? Show me what you got. I like it with these colors though, that's looking much nicer. Whoa! Wow! Wow, will you look at that? Oh, I love the trail effect on the rockets. That's so cool. The damage seems pretty good as well. I'm telling you right now, this double arcane nonsense is gonna be broken as hell. I think the most busted combo is gonna be Enervate on the secondary, and then if you can run it, Crux on the primary, so you get like free crit, free status, and then a bunch of efficiency on top. I think that's the plan here. So let's get Crux. So Crux and Enervate. Damn. Haven't modded an Arcgun in a while, but let's go primed rubido lined barrel. Dual rounds, I guess. Wow, 60% multi-shot. But that is converted into damage then, yes? Yes. I guess automatic trigger for the fire rate. So if I add elemental damage, is it gonna be added to all of them? It should, right? Let's not forget hallowed bullets for the crit damage. So if we add blast, that's gas, what am I doing? There, it just adds it to all the rockets? Okay, that makes sense. Cool. Bring it on. What the f was that? What is this damage? That is ridiculous. What? Dude, this is wild. Just some extra status until we figure out what we want to do. However, I think we're going to drop Crux because we're not proccing it very often. So what are we going to replace it with? I really like the idea of going Blast Toxin with Blight. Because we get extra crit damage, which is good, and then multi-shot, which is more damage. Right? So that seems like a good idea. So now we get Blast and Toxin on everything. Okay. This is a stupid gun in like the best way possible. Whoever made this, I love you. One thing I did not notice in the simulacrum, and this is a pretty big deal, is that this thing is an absolute ammo guzzler. It consumes 6 rounds per shot. This is why it's important to test things in missions. And we're out. We didn't even make it past the 2-minute mark. Yeah, this is gonna be a bit of a problem. Finally got an ammo drop, Jesus, just in time for an acolyte as well. Oh, that damage though, the damage is so crazy on this. Oh, that's well good, that is. The ammo sustain is actually not terrible when you're careful. I guess you just can't fire it willy-nilly, which is a shame because it's very much fun to fire it willy-nilly. A part of this is definitely because we are doing a survival though, and in survival it's kind of difficult in the first 5ish minutes because you don't get a lot of heavy units to spawn, so you can't get much heavy ammo. So fire rate, definitely no bueno. I can't think of a good mod to fill in this dash because I want all the status in the world, so I guess we're gonna reformat into a V then. You could use a raw elemental mod, but I would just rather have a V in here. Okay, so we go corrosive and blast so that we strip armor more reliably. This is gonna give us radiation and damage, which is nice because primed rubedo lined barrel doesn't actually give you that much damage. We're gonna have to use a different arcane, which is a bit of a shame because Blight fits here really well, but I think we're just gonna switch into Frostbite and hope that Harold can sustain it on his own. Yeah, so Frostbite is no good. I've been watching the buff bar pretty religiously for the last 4-ish minutes and I almost never have it. I could remod Harold so that he would proc more cold, but I really don't want to do that because it would break a lot of my other setups, so we're gonna have to figure out something else. You know what, let's give Crux another shot because it is the perfect arcane for this. Ton of status and the ammo efficiency is tremendous and we might be able to sustain it in a normal mission. Another excellent example of why mission testing is important. In the Simulacrum, Crux felt pretty bad, but here it's perfect. Yeah, even with these big guys getting in the way, like they take a lot of shots, I can still comfortably sustain my ammo, which is fantastic. Like, as long as this, like, all we need really is to survive the first 5-ish minutes, then the heavy units start spawning in more, and we can sustain pretty easily after that. I am not expecting much from this, but let's give it a shot. Okay, moment of truth. Show me. Ooh, it actually works! Okay, I was worried because usually AoE Arguns tend to clip the invincible part of the spider and then do 0 damage to the legs, but this is actually ripping them up pretty nicely. Also, do bear in mind, we are not built for this. You would run a different setup for this with heavier radiation and stuff. So this is actually not half bad. Nice. What about the head? Okay, that's not good. Alright. Feels pretty good in Arcwing as well. I still very much prefer the Flactus, I think. And sometimes the rockets miss their target as they try to home in on it. They just kind of miss it and then fizzle out or something. But yeah, like here, that was a perfect example. If the enemy is too close, you might miss, but overall, not bad. Well then, here's the final setup for the new Arbucep. We have primed rubedo lined barrel for damage, dual rounds for multi-shot, which is also converted into damage, and hollowed bullet for crit damage. After that is just a bunch of elemental shenanigans. We have containment breach for radiation and multi-shot, which is converted into damage, and then hypothermic shell, magma chamber, contamination casing, and charged bullets for corrosive, blast, and a ton of status. Now the arcanes we ended up with I think are gonna be go-to on most Arguns, and it's primary Crux with secondary enervate, so you get free crit, free status, and a ton of ammo efficiency. It's just a ridiculously strong combo. Now, to help with the crit fluctuation from enervate, I'm actually running Avenger on my frame, which just helps to cut off the low end where you're basically not critting at all. It's very much not necessary, you can do without it, but it speeds up the ramp up. I'm so glad this Argun ended up being as good as it is, because originally I wanted to do a different Argun, and we're still gonna do it. It's just that I wasn't quite sure whether I should start with the new one because I had no idea if it was gonna be good or not, but I'm glad I ended up going with the Arbucep because it is just damn fantastic. I love it. And yes, I would absolutely recommend you give it a shot. It's really, really fun. And as always guys, I thank you very much for watching and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Then I would also like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support. It means a lot to me. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.